Hey everybody, Adam Savage in my cave, but recently I was not in my cave. I was in Los Angeles at the Jim Henson Creature Shop, specifically because the Jim Henson Company and Tested have banded together to support our friend and fan, Adam Krutinger. Adam is an elementary school art teacher by day and puppet maker by night. He has an amazing YouTube channel called Puppet Nerd, and I first met him a few years ago when he brought me this amazing puppet, based on me, as if you couldn't tell. And then last year, he made me another magnificent creation in the form of this guy. Right now, Adam is battling brain cancer. And the Henson Company and Tested wanted you to know about his YouTube channel so you can go there and you can watch his videos and you could like and subscribe. Or you could choose to go one step further and help support Adam and his young family through their GoFundMe. Links to both are in the description. Okay, let's get to the subject of this video, in which Henson Creature Shop Fabrication Supervisor Scott Johnson teaches me the famous Henson stitch that makes all those Muppet seams disappear. We are talking about the stitch, the famous invisible stitch here.
Yep.
Okay.
So we use what used to be called Antron fleece. They've since changed the formulation, and now it's a nylon fleece. Traditionally,
so the OG fleece that the Muppets were made of, the original stuff doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist anymore. But it's just down to the fiber. It's basically the same thing,
and it has a lot of the same properties.
Same properties. Okay. But it's nylon now.
Okay.
What we're using today is actually a scrap from one of our boxes. I think this is the OG.
This is the OG Antron fleece.
This is the OG Antron fleece. It actually does a really nice job of hiding those stitches.
Does it? Well, that's kind of one of its big features, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so I'm looking at some hands here, and I see Fraggles, and I see their beautiful hands, and I see these pieces, and walk me through how this all happens.
This is basically what goes into one of our hands is, and again, just basic. Every puppet is a little bit different, and there's not a right way or wrong way to do it. This is just kind of the way I do it, which is I make a little jig, which then I can use to bend a wire. Mm-hmm. The wire gets put into a little piece of foam, and then the next layer is a arm rod pocket, and the arm rod pocket would sleeve on top of that. The arm rod pocket. Oh, wow. So this is what this thing goes into for the hands. Correct. And again, removable arm rods, and again, there's many different ways.
Right.
Some people will make a little square that goes into the palm. This just happens to be, we had a Fraggle here, and this was out of him. So that arm rod slots into there, not so elegantly, and goes right up into that first finger.
Amazing. So, and that actually, it makes sense that it's the first finger, because if he's going to point in anything, you want to know that.
Yep. And it gives it a real positive movement. You want it to really be able to grab on things or tap things and that sort of thing.
Does the individuality of each maker's approach to this mean that you can often surmise exactly who made something by some of the choices?
Absolutely.
Oh, really? Everyone's got their kind of zone?
And again, like all these Fraggles were built in New York, mm-hmm. And run up for our new season of the show. Raleigh Cruson was running up that build. But yeah, they all have a different style, and again, I'm probably the least qualified person here to show you a stitch, because there are masters in New York that do this.
All right, well, walk me through the step process. After the arm,
so we would use a contact cement and put together this pocket onto here, mm-hmm. and then the back of the hand, which I don't have a back of the hand.
Oh, so it's to get from this to this, there's a second layer of foam that goes over.
A second layer of foam.
And that's the pocket you just put in.
And then that's the pocket. So that pocket would fold open and stitch down around the edges. And then I usually use nice curved scissors mm-hmm. to just trim those fingers down to the shape.
And make them round.
Yep.
I'm just curious. I mean, the putting of stitches here into the foam, it would occur to me, a maker, that glue would be enough, but I'm sure you guys have had the opposite experience.
Well, I'll tell you, when you put the rod in, what you need to do to hold the rod is drive a pin into, you pin together those loose bits of fabric.
Right.
And if you've put too much glue on there, you can't get a pin in there.
Got it.
So
Fair.
So I like to keep it a little bit looser. The glue is probably a little sturdier, but by the time we've wrapped another layer of fabric over the top of it,
you need that kind of
strength.
strength.
It's going to be fun.
Okay, so you've got this. This is the hand with the structure in it, the pocket in it.
Yep. And then so we would take our fleece and cut to pieces, and I'll just demo how we would stitch this together.
Okay.
And again, there's, a lot of people talk about the Henson stitch. The little secret is there's a lot of ways to do it. And some people, this is the way that I've learned to do it. And I'll try to get down here. So to me, the secret is you push the fleece down with your needle first.
So you're combing it into...
You're actually combing those fibers and getting that backing to just kiss along there.
Gotcha.
So that by the time you start your stitch, we're going to come here, tie our knot, and really it's what would be a baseball stitch. So you grab one side and then go across and grab the other side.
Oh, and you're not being super precious about being right at the edge. It's within a millimeter or two.
You still need to kind of grab.
Okay.
And then the idea is you get as close to the previous stitch as you can.
So tight little stitches.
Tight, like you're really kind of weaving that fabric together. And then about every third,
like a shoe, like shoelaces almost.
And then about every third or fourth, I like to take and tie a little knot.
You do a little whip stitch there.
Yep. So that as you continue to go,
it doesn't unwind.
It doesn't unwind.
Oh, that's really cool.
And then
Chris, you're making it look really easy.
Well, and again, you can take your time and do it real nice, or you can bang it out and have a puppet
and it'll
quicker.
Be fun.
But then after you've stitched a bit. Then you can already see like that seam is fairly gone.
Yep.
And then all you got to do is just give it a little bit of a comb there.
Oh, wow. And it disappears entirely.
And the fibers will just make it go away.
That is really cool.
And then, and sometimes too, it's like particularly on this older fleece, you can kind of brush it up and kind of comb it a little bit. Sometimes I'll use a little piece of Velcro to really fluff it.
Oh, like Velcro hook to kind of puff it out.
And then when the hand is all done, so we can take and turn. Do I have a pencil here? Let's see if I've got I'll use the end of a rod.
Oh, right, turning the stuff inside out.
Let's get these out, and then I'll just put a glove.
So is this where this hand is sewn up to, which is like just to past the pinky there, or is that a kind of a standard? That's how far you bring it before turning it inside out?
It is. It's like that's where this will make it easier to get the glove in there.
Right.
And then also that's approximately where our rod pocket is going to end up.
Gotcha. And then there's no structure in the thumb? Or is there structure? Oh, there is structure.
There is.
Okay,
I've got a wire in there, and again, it's
right.
Folded there. Let's see if I can get that on there.
So then there's a stitch from the other side.
So so once we would get to that side, and if we're going that way, let me rescue my thread from here. All right, so from this side, the stitch I would use on fleece would be more of kind of a ladder stitch.
Okay. When it means coming back.
Yeah, and all right, so once this would be started here. Totally make a mess. You'd take, and again, it would be grabbing one side and then coming across.
And you're coming from the top.
I'm coming from the top. And what this is going to do, it's going to pull them together.
Wow.
It's going to pull the fleece together and again, push all those fibers next to each other.
Wow, I can't believe how fast it disappears.
Again, 100 different ways to do it.
Wow.
This one's just...
And then that gets, that's all the posability that you want.
Yep.
That's amazing. Can I try one?
Yeah, absolutely. Here, let me tie a knot on a little short piece of thread.
And then we're starting from here, right?
Yeah, and I don't think I tied a knot there. I don't know if your thread's long enough. Does that feel all right to you?
Oh, we've got a knot.
Yep.
My nearsightedness is starting to go. My last superpower. All right, there we go. So now I've got it knotted.
So yeah, once you've tucked that fleece in there,
so
then you're just going to sneak the needle right
like there, from the top outside, or
from the top, but from in between. So don't grab. So if you're coming this way, you're just going to grab one side,
right, like that.
I usually go from the inside.
From the inside, okay. Yep. So grab. Grab the inside.
And then you'll cross over and go from the inside again.
And directly across?
Yep.
Okay.
And as tight as you can. I've heard tell of builders who will actually count the fibers on the back of the fleece.
Really?
And do 3 and then grab that and then go across.
Oh, so tight to each other.
Tight, as tight as you can. It's perfect. You're hired.
Don't tempt me. I will leave my life and come live with you guys.
I've got feet to make too.
And then every few you come in and do
and do a little knot so that if again hands take a lot of abuse on these puppets and a lot of pinning. So you really want to make sure it's really sturdy. So,
and that just means that anything that breaks doesn't end up crawling and creeping down and opening up the stitch.
Yep.
And so then on the other side, look at that.
And on the other side, you've got
It looks like I knew what I was doing.
It's perfect.
Dude. Oh my God. I'm going to go back to San Francisco and start making some shit. I'm so enamored of how much gesture and character there is in the hands and how simple and humble their construction is. It seems to be a sort of ethos that pervades this place.
Yep.
Scott, thank you so much for showing me the rudiments of this. I'm continually astounded here by how much gesture and like love and character there is in these pieces and how simple they are to make. Does that magic ever wear off for you as you're putting these together?
Not at all.
Amazing.
Not at all.
Dude, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.